All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I actually have a schedule now, so hopefully that makes things easier for people who do want to watch some live coding stuff. And I do have some more exciting stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. It seems like the next big project I'll be working on is going to be, or at least on the live streams, is going to be just starting a new project from scratch. That seems to be what is wanted right now. So I'll be thinking through that. I've got a couple ideas. One is like a rhyming dictionary, which could build out to be something where like I have users and I can do multi-tenant, or not, maybe not multi-tenant, but I can do authenticated areas of the website where people can go. Could even tie in the Stripe integration to make it more of like a SaaS thing, but still not multi-tenant. So that's going to be cool. It's either that or maybe a library, like a personal library app. Both Payload CMS would do a great job at. The other thing that I put out a poll the other day where I wanted to see what people wanted to see. And so it seems like that's the winner right now. I'm going to give it a couple more hours to see what I actually do. Actually, I can give it till Wednesday because that'll be the next time I stream. But if I don't get any other results right now, it's just starting a new project from scratch, which that is exciting. But also there is the possibility where I just refactor a real client's website. So I have permission to go in and show like a real live website and all of the code that goes into that. I believe it's open source. I have to double check that, but it may not be. So that would be kind of a bummer. Whatever I create new would be open source, so you'd be able to look at the GitHub with me. But regardless, either way, I'll either be starting a new project from scratch, which will either be a rhyming dictionary or it will be a personal library app, or it'll be refactoring a client's website. So either way, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I've got some new tutorials coming out. So Tuesday I have a new Payload CMS one. I think it's one more SEO video. Could be. I don't remember. It's either that or redirects. But I do have redirects coming up, and then as well as custom components coming out as well. And then Tailwind. I started doing some stuff with Tailwind, so that is going to be coming out soon as well. So lots of good stuff coming up. But today what we're going to work on is I've been seeing a lot of community plugins. So first I was going to let the poll run for a couple more days. So I didn't want to start something new just to maybe like refresh or restart. So we'll be just going through some community plugins that I've been seeing on the Payload CMS Discord. See what's interesting, see what's in there, and see if there's anything that we would want to use. And I'm actually going to start with one that I'm most excited about, that I've wanted to try out, and that's this blur data URL by Payload plugin. This one is by Oversight Studio. And so what this does is it creates a like a blur hash that can be stored in the database. And then once that's done, it will return that blur hash over your image while it's loading. So that's really cool to me. I want to see what this is going to be like. So we already have Sharp, so I think all we have to do is pnpm add this here. And I need to move my face somewhere else. I guess I'll move myself over here. Wonder if I can flip myself real quick. Transform, flip horizontal. That's the way. All right, so yeah, I'll be looking over here on my screen, and we're going to run pnpm add blur data URLs. And so we need to take a look at this with the plugin. So we're going to go to our config. And this is the first time that I've looked at any of these. So bear with me if I stumble through anything. It's just going to be all based on how the documentation looks, how quickly I'm going to be able to go through this. But we'll go to our payload config, and then we've got our plugins here. I'm just going to make my life easier by just putting stuff up here. And so this is the project that we've been working on. It's not anything special. It's just the, this is kind of going to be my catch-all project. So it's boilerplate, yes, but it is also just a way for me to experiment, try new things. So that's what we're going to do right here, where we're going to import blur data URLs plugin. If I spelt import right, that would be helpful. Oh, that was weird. Okay, so that's there, and then I believe I already have media from collections imported, so we're good there. So we'll come back down to our plugins, and we're going to do our blur data URLs plugin. And then we will enable true. We'll do our collections media. And then I guess we get to set, okay, so these are optional, but we can set these options, I assume, as a default. So we'll do blur. I'm just going to copy the documentation and see how this looks. So height auto. And so in the blur option settings, height can either be a number or auto. And so auto will maintain the image's aspect ratio, which is at worst what we want. At best, we want the actual number for the height, but we may be able to override that. So what we'll do then is we have our image object. If you already have images, you might want to generate blur data URLs to do. Place this script on your okay, so let's see what this script is. But first, we're going to go to our image object. So we'll go to our front end components up here. And we have our media image object. And so here in our image, we can then do, we have props. So let's generate types real quick. All right, and so what we'll do, placeholder, we'll set this equal to blur like it says, and then blur data URL is going to be our, this here needs to be blur data URL. And we can do blur data URL or undefined. And so now if we spin up our pnpm dev, this shouldn't do anything with our current images, which is fine, because it seems like the script that this is saying here is we need to generate, we'll take a look at that here in a second, but this looks like it needs to generate blur data URLs for current images. Not something that we need to worry about. We can just upload a new image. I'm not too worried about it. But blur data URL or undefined. So I think then I need to do blur data URL, and then I can do, if that's true, return blur. If not, empty. Yeah, okay, so and again, so I'm going to inspect and do this network slowdown thing. I can remember how to do it. Network throttling, we'll do like 3G, and then if I refresh, it should be slow. And so it doesn't do anything for our images. It waits for the image to be done. So that means then let us take that off, no throttling. And then we're going to go to admin login. All right, so then let's go to our media, and we're just going to create a new image. And sure, let's use this one here. This is my live stream thumbnail. Test, test. And this is just me. Person. Me. Doesn't really matter. So if I hit save, we should see a blur data URL generated, which we do. And so now if we go to our pages, and we'll just go to our home page. And I wonder, actually, so since I don't have a lot of images, if I can just go to my media here, and then let's take this one, and if I just update it, let's update that correctly, I do get a blur data URL. Perfect. So go back to localhost, and then come here, and we will throttle. We'll do slow 4G because that was miserable. Okay, so it hashed there, or blurred for a second there, so maybe I do need to see it in 3G. It'll refresh. Interesting. So let's turn throttling off real quick. Do a full refresh. Do 3G. Refresh. Oh, I think I need to disable cache. Oh boy. There we go. So that takes a minute, but it's there. So slow 4G might be better. It at least doesn't explode the page. So cool. Now let's mess with the settings here for a minute. So width of the blur data URL, 32 is fine. 18, the amount of blur applied. Let's set that to be something a little less intense while I fix my music. Where's my payload config? Over here. Cool. So 18. Let's do something like 8. And so I know I'm gonna have to come here and redo my admin, local admin. Oh shoot, no throttling. And then do media. And we're just gonna, nope, not this one. I don't care about this one. Media, leave. It's this one here. And then let's update this. Now I don't know if that actually made any difference, so we'll check here in a second. Let's open a new tab for our local host. Inspect, do network, disable cache, slow 4G. Yeah, and that looks a little bit better. So I like less blur, it seems. So I'm gonna do 4, which I know is not gonna generate anything here. But now if we come back, let's do, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. Let's change this first image in our home page. Hero, we'll change it to our new image. Can get rid of that, choose from existing, do this one. Let's edit it real quick so we can generate a new URL. And then we save, and we come back to our local host. We'll disable cache, slow 4G. Yeah, that's way better. So it gives it some kind of definition as like it's unveiling a blur. So that's really cool. I actually like that a lot. And it was really easy to set up. So, and of course, it didn't take any other dependencies because I already had Sharp. So, but even so, we have fast 4G. I don't know why it keeps jumping me down whenever I refresh. But now if I get rid of all of this, I should be able to just refresh. It'll flash real quick when there's a blur URL, but then that's all. It goes away after that. So Cool. Great job. I loved that. It's really simple to use. You can use this script here to like run a migration script. So we could try this. It does not seem very difficult. And it gives us an idea of how to actually do a migration script, which would be cool. But I don't think I really need it with all of the... Well, this is an image object too. I'm thinking. Yeah, why not? We've got some time. So we'll come over to the blur data URLs. And we're going to have source, which is here. I don't think we have a scripts folder. So let's add a new directory and we'll call it scripts. And we're going to copy that into a new file, which actually let's do this first. .ts. We'll add that, copy and paste this. Cool. We like the blur of 18. Or sorry, 8. Maybe I'll do 4. What did I do in the config actually? Yeah, 4. And then our width was 32 and the auto is fine, so I'm cool with that. Set the plugin configuration. And so the rest of it should be fine because we named everything the same here. So type generated types, from payload. I learned something new again. So you can pull in all of your generated types and then look under collections and then have it set equal to media, which that's what mine is called, so that works great. That's fine. All right, and then I assume, I shouldn't assume anything before running a script. We already have TSX installed. Plugin configuration on the script, we did that. And then run the script, let it cook. All right, so I'll just run this script. And then it says it's finished. Whoops, get my dock out of the way there. Cool, so now if I refresh, everything should have a blur hash. We'll do slow 4G, refresh. Even that has a blur. Those have, I mean, all of these are the same, so these client logos though, so what if we refresh those? We do 3G. That way it can give me time to find the client logos. I guess they're just white with black, so they probably blend in. Yeah. But also, why don't I do in my image object again, we can go to here and set priority, and if there is a priority, we can set that to be priority. But if not, it should be, is it not priority? That's not what I'm thinking of. I can't remember what this is. Lazy load. Lazy load. Where do I put it though? Image loading. So it was loading. Okay, so loading priority eager, otherwise lazy. So now if I do that and then we come here, we do nice little slow 4G. We can load this up. There's that. Then also So maybe I just need to set this to be lazy load. Got that. So it goes through and loads everything anyway. Okay. Either way, very cool. Very easy to use. So that does seem to make things speed up a little bit. So we like that. Cool. So I think that's it for this one here. So we spent a couple minutes going through our blur data URLs. So if you want to check this one out, I will have a link in the description when we're done here. So highly encourage it. Very easy to use, very easy to set up. And if you already have Sharp, you only have to install one other PNPM package there. So very well documented, very good, very good. All right, so, and then the document, like coming with the script, like that was extremely helpful. All right, next one. I like this image search because I believe it's used to look for, Unsplash, Pexels, and Pixabay. So if you have a site that needs to use stock photos instead, we could use this one. So what we'll do is we'll set up accounts on these real quick, and then we'll start from the top. So let's take a look at this real quick. You can create new media. The video player in GitHub is atrocious. I don't know why it won't play more than 1 second for me, but it's done this for like a bunch of different videos. So anyway, we will start. Let's start with adding this one. This one is by Payload Bytes. And we'll do npm add payload bytes image search. All right, now Unsplash. Go to dashboard, I guess. Okay. So let's do Unsplash. And then, do I have a login for this? My personal email, whatever. Don't spam me. All right, so then developers and API. View the documentation. Creating a developer account. Join. Demo apps. So new application. Non-automated. Cannot replicate. Okay. Accept terms. All right, I'm going to move this over real quick just in case a key flashes. We don't want that. Application name, Payload CMS. Look up images. Create application. Okay, I don't need to apply for production, but I do see that I've got some keys, and the ones I need are these here. So I'm also, for a second, going to take this off the screen. Bring it over here because that's going to be easier for me to see and not crane my neck. And we're going to add the environment variable that it's saying. So we'll add all three of them because I'll need them. It doesn't seem like I need my application ID, so API key. This is Unsplash, so I just should need, so API key, the key you configured to use the Unsplash. Well, I've got a secret key and an access key. I'm going to assume it's the access key, so let's try that. But I guess I'll leave this up. Default providers. Okay, so that wasn't exactly the clearest thing since I've got so many different options for keys here. I also have an application ID, but I don't think it's that one. Anyway, so we've got pixels. So we can go to pixels. And then let's take a look here. I guess your profile makes sense to me. I'm going to move this off as well. And let's image and video API, your API key, that sounds right. Payload CMS, project category, personal use just for fun. I don't know. It's asking for a reason. I'll be using this in my Payload CMS backend. I agree. It is a hobby project with no production value. Generate API key. Success message, that's good. Oh, here's my API key, so let me drop this in real quick, and then we'll do the same thing for Pixabay. This one only did come with the one key, so that is good. Don't have to worry about that too much. And then let's move this off. Join. We'll sign up with Google, why not? All right, then let's go to the API. View API, then oh, it does have my API key. Okay. So the only one that wasn't clear exactly what my API key was the first one, Unsplash. But I'm going to hope that the one that I put in is the correct one. So now I can close out those and bring back my screen here. And we will go back to our payload config. I'm going to leave this in here because I liked that a lot. And then we're going to import image search plugin. And then we will go to our plugins. Underneath this, we will import image search plugin. Then we need to go to our defaults.ts and our types.ts. So for default, we have enabled true and then provider access. So I guess I don't need to put anything there. Enabled. I guess I'll just put enabled true. Then function determines provider access control. Only the rec attribute is available. And that's optional, so I'm not going to put anything there. Okay, so let's restart P in PM dev. And then we can come back to our admin UI. All right, and so it should be in media if I understand right, but maybe not. Hold on. So let's see if this added a new collection. Providers, okay, liability. Okay. So yeah, it is in media. So I come to media and I create new. And I really wish I could watch this video, but for some reason it just won't load for me. Because I imagine this tells me what I need to do, but paste URL maybe? No? Select file. No. All right, so that's... Oh, what happened to my title here? Crawler, okay, payload auth.js. All right, so I can add that to the list, and if I have enough time today, I will review it. Thank you for sending that. I'm always looking for new plugins to work with. I seem to have lost my header tag here on my homepage, but that's not what we're here to take care of. But I'm just gonna double check here. SEO. I mean, it has the stuff. Anyway, so we go to our media, and if I want to create new media, I should be able to... Here, is there like 3. Oh, okay. So the problem here is I'm on 3.8. Cool. So let's do a thing real quick where we go to our package.json and we just let's take this up to recent. Let me do 3.24.0. Replace all PMPMI. All right, and so now if I do pnpm dev, I'm glad I checked the compatibility thing before giving up here. And now we just wait for this to reload. What is this? Okay, we're fine. Okay, select file. No, not select file. I'm sorry. Go to media, create new. Okay, I need to run payload generate import map. Okay, now let's try this again. Oh, I see the top loader now. I didn't have this before. That's nice. All right. So now if I refresh, go to create new, now I can search images. Perfect. So I've got Unsplash, we got Pexels, we got Pixabay. So that's really cool. This is AI generated, but now I'm able to like pick any of this. So let's just do Pexels, and let's do... I wish I could also set by like aspect ratio instead of getting all these mostly vertical images. Oh, I could use this dog. And then this is dog. Now I can add a creator link and all that, but now how would I like to give attribution? It would be helpful to be able to do that, because at this point I would have to find... Oh, I guess I can crop this image. That's cool. Let's do 1920 10:8. Ooh, nope, reset. All right, so we'll cancel that. Doggy. So I would like to be able to like attribute this image to the creator, but I would have to look up the creator here. So it would be nice to not have to do that. But overall, it seems like it's helpful. So I can save this, and then using the plugin that we just had before, the blur data URL is there. this image is quite large, but it is at least about 2 megabytes, so it's not going to make or break anything. So that is really cool. So if I click on this, what happens? Okay, cool. Then I inspect. Yeah, so the attribution thing I know is going to be a big deal. That's going to be the first thing that I would like to see on this one, is a way to either have the author, so like there's the link there. So the links are all there, but I lose them as soon as I click on the image. So I would have to, can I click on, if I click on this, does it copy it? No, it just brings me to the Unsplash. And there's the actual photo. Now if I click on this, yeah, so it would be cool to have something like this where I can do credit, especially in a like schema. So like how I do my schema markup is I have my image object, which can then use media, and then I can tell Google, hey, this is an image, here's the creator and all that. So at least having the creator name and the creator's link, that would be extremely helpful here. But overall, I think this is a great plugin to add some stock photos to what you're doing, and then with Sharp being able to help you like determine the size of it, that makes life way easier too. Perfect. So that's another plugin down, I believe. Let's go ahead and delete this because I'm not going to be able to use it without attribution. And then we did this payload bytes one, so of course I'll drop it in the description after we're done here. We looked at our defaults and types, and then this is one that I've seen a few people talk about. But first, let me we don't need the migration script up anymore, or our image object. And then I'm going to take out our search plugin here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and also take it out here. And in our package.json, wherever it is, image search. So yeah, that's really cool. I like that one. All right. What do we have next? All right, so we're going to use this one, which is a lexical feature where you can do text color, font size, and coming soon font family and line height. So we're going to do our PNPM add payload lexical typography. And this one is by Adrian Maj. So pretty active in the Discord. If you haven't been in the Discord, make sure you check it out. It's there for a reason. Really helpful. You get to see cool stuff like this. So I need to add real quick to my, I have a tech to try list of things to do, and Radix is one of them. So I want to see if I need to add that to any lists I've got going on. Well, actually, I can just add it to my streaming ideas. Okay, so Radix UI. Anyway, so we have our typography plugin downloaded and ready to go. So what we'll do is take a look here. So we'll go add features you want to include in your lexical editor config. You can also pass additional props. So it does not seem like this is a plugin that's added to the config. It's just added directly to your lexical editor. Do I have my default lexical editor in here? Because I'll just use this and make sure I can use it everywhere. Rich text, lexical. Oh wait, it's under editor. There we go. So we've got all of this here. So I can just add our text color feature, which we'll start with. Text color feature from Payload lexical typography, and I just saw that I have that ext package still somewhere in here. There it is. So this one didn't really work for me, so we'll get rid of that for now. All right, so we got our text color feature, and we get to set the text colors that we want, it seems, by default, which is cool. And then we've got our text size feature. So the text color feature, I actually like how this is handled. So it sets so the white, black, RGB. So you can set like a limit and have this be the I need to import this. Instead of people having whatever they want to put, you have to have specific colors here. And I don't think I can bring in like CSS variables, but that's fine. I don't really need them here. But now if we add, well, first we can see what they look like by running pnpm dev. And we'll just go to any one of our rich text lexical fields. Which pages is probably going to be the best option, and we can do, well, contact going to be a form. Oh, I got this. Whoops. That's content. I need that. All right, so we got this here. So this is some text. We have our highlighter, but then we come in here. So I don't see, I mean, this is my highlight here, but that's not what I'm looking for. I don't see a text color feature, but maybe let's get the rest of the configuration done here first. So we'll go to our project, and then in our app, nope, sorry, in our components here on, nope, it is under app, and then app components. We'll have our rich text converters index. Then we'll import our typography JSX converters. And then right here we'll do typography JSX converters. Let that save. Let's do payload, both generate types, and then payload generate import map. Now we'll run pnpm dev. If this doesn't work, then I'll just bring it to like directly into the rich text field. I thought just having it as default though would work, but apparently not. This is text. All right, so I don't see it in the floating, so maybe that's the problem. So let's go to our payload config again. No, I should have fixed toolbar feature. But then let's go to our collections, pages, config. And then we have our editor somewhere in here. Default features. So I guess if you define it here, it doesn't it overwrites it, is what I'm assuming. Text color feature, colors. I don't know if this works with text, but we're about to find out. Refresh, reload. All right, perfect. So I can see it now here. Perfect. So text or test text, I can then set this to be red. This one can be green. And if I save this and come back to the front end and look at our contact, what is this? So type some, and then color RGB. Type some text. Content. Where are you coming from? What are you? So you're a content column. Okay, so we have two. So it's our old block, which I think is this here. Oh yeah, type some text. Weird. So I guess, what is this text? And how did I get it to be a different color? And then why is it working now? Either way, all good. So the hero, though, didn't update. So if I go to our hero, color green, color red, so that's all right. Interesting, interesting. So if I come back to our edit screen, oh, maybe for the contact I'm not generating a hero, which would be logical. But so let's go to our content. I can see it here. So we'll do red. Set this to be red. Set this to be green. And then, of course, I can set this to be huge. And then we can take a look here. Yep, that it looks exactly like a web designer's website should look like. I wonder... No, that is green. Okay. It's just, it looks like a little bit of a brighter green than I was expecting, but I guess it makes sense. And then we've got our red there. So, that's really cool. Now, I am glad... Let's, man, I cannot click on anything today. Let's set this back to... The floating bar, I guess, just needs to go away. So, get rid of you. Reset. What I was going to say is I'm glad that the creator of this one did allow for their attribution to be hidden. But, like, I understand why wanting attribution there is important. Like, especially in cases like this where, like, if I were just trying to pawn this off as like my creation, then that's a problem. But if I were to use this for like a client project, it wouldn't make sense to include some stranger's name on their website. So thank you for having the ability to hide the attribution. Great job on this plugin. So let's take a look at what that looks like just while we're here. Then we can come do attribution. Oh, it has to be done in each. Yeah. Which is fine. So now if I do that, the attribution should go away. Here, I think I just need to get rid of this in here because I overwrite it everywhere else. So we can come here and just do hide attribution, set to true, and then do text size feature. True. Let's refresh. So, oh, this is our pages config. Oh, this is the subtext. So that shows up there. So then I need to take this. Really? No? Okay. So I'll take this and then find our other text field here, which is actually going to be in our form block. So if we go to blocks, form, and then go to our config. In our intro content, not what I'm looking for. It is what I'm looking for. So inline toolbar feature, get rid of that. And then I'll put these here. Excuse me. All right, so I'll take a look at that in a second. But I'm getting an error about, I think it's not that. I will look at the problem that I'm having with, no, that's working now. Whatever. All right, so now I should be able to come in here, not see any attribution, which is great. And then use that there to get rid of our color picker. And then I can save. And then look at our contact. And that works just fine. All right, so that is 3 plugins. I think I got time for one more, and I was actually sent one just a couple minutes ago. So let's take a look at our Payload Auth.js by Crawler Code. So first, this one was Adrian Maj. Payload lexical typography. Found this one in the Discord. So looking forward to see what you do with this one. I did really enjoy that text color is an array of choices. It's not just whatever you want, but like you can set your default. So that is great for theming. So perfect. Love that. Font size, I can see where this would come in handy. I likely would not use it very often, but text color, absolutely. Font family, I can see that being used. Line height, even, yes, I can see that being used, but really enjoyed working with this one, the text color feature especially. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the roadmap here, and potentially even using it in a project maybe down the line and see what we get. All right, so we have crawler code, payload auth.js, most recent commit 5 days ago, so I love that. Let's see what this does. So you can use this plugin. So Auth.js 5 in beta may have bugs. This one creates a users collection in the Payload CMS. So I don't actually think I can do this one because I have a users collection already. But we do have install the plugin using any JavaScript. Okay, first one. So Auth.js, which I believe this used to be next auth. Yep, it sure is. Free and open source. Migrating, so... Oh, excuse me. So this helps you use auth in your middleware. You can use OAuth providers. You can even include GitHub. And so interesting. Okay. You don't need to create a users collection. This plugin automatically creates a collection with the slug users. So the problem, yeah, so I won't be able to do this for this project because I already have a users collection, but this could be something that I use since I plan on using that project, like for my next project, doing something that might have authentication. I could do auth.js with this plugin to... says list of providers there, and then I can just use that as my user authentication and then have an admin collection as well, where I can then have my admin users. And then they can take care of most of it. But this should, I think this logs me into Payload, not into the actual website. So, sign in, sign out, create user, update user, link account, session, sign in, event. So this would be great for... I'm just curious how I would migrate a current project for this. Creates a users collection, use a custom database adapter for auth.js to store the users in the Payload CMS database. Use a custom auth strategy for Payload CMS to achieve the session from auth.js. And so this passes the session to Payload CMS, which is good. But I think this just accesses the back end, which I guess could be used for, like, they can just bring up the user profile, which is fine. Then they can go back to the home page. So add auth.js plugin to your payload configuration file. Either way, I do think I can use this near here in the future. Client side. Yeah, so I'm going to have to look into this a little bit more. So this one might be a little bit above my head right now because I'm just trying to wrap my head around, does this just log me into the Payload CMS dashboard, or is this used to also have users that can, like, just like those who are navigating through the site, I can have them log in and then see their like their profile or authentication protected fields. So, or not fields, but like content on the site. So I will look into that, but this looks like a great plugin, honestly. So yeah, 100 stars, couple of forks here and there. So this could be something that I use in my next project. So I need to do more research though. So I'm going to put that on my list of things to research, Because if I do, not my ideas, I need not websites either. So stream ideas. So does payload auth.js by crawler code? Does this give me a way to log in users? Question mark. And so I just hesitate to, well, you know what? Let's give it a shot. So what's the worst that could happen? This should be pnpm add, I believe. So that was a lot of talk just to do this anyway. All right, and so now we will get rid of that. Let's get rid of our text color features. We'll get rid of also in our package.json lexical typography, which also then needs to come out of our payload config. Okay. So now we can then only integrate auth by getting the user session from auth.js. It doesn't handle the auth.js stuff. First, you need to set up auth.js before you can use this plugin. All right, so let's set up auth.js. Did this not install auth.js for me? Payload auth.js. No, it did not. All right, so let's. Oh, that's the package I just installed. Ugh. So then this one. Okay, let's just then do our auth secret. Just in case, I'm going to move this over off the screen. I want to make sure that none of my... Okay, yeah, so it didn't pull up my .env file, which is what I was concerned about. Okay, configure. So here, make sure you define your config in a separate file. Then where you create the next auth instance to avoid circular dependencies. So we need to go to the root of our app. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, gotta get rid of this. Easy enough. So we go to the root, we do a new file where we'll create auth.ts. Next auth. So let's add providers real quick. We can do GitHub. That's not even correct. I wonder what other providers there are. Probably Google is one of them. So we can do GitHub. We can do Google. Nope. Google. All right, so I guess we need to do this too, where we have our app So in here we need to do a new directory where we'll do API. Then we'll do a new directory where we'll do auth. Now another new directory, which this one will be dynamic route. Next auth. So that should still be right. Okay, and then do a new TS file, which will be route.ts. Add, and we'll just add this in there. Referring to the auth TS we just created, I assume is what that's reading. Yep, so this, then we need to figure out where it actually is. Okay, so the last thing then, we'll add a middleware just to do everything that this says, which I believe also has to be at the root. But actually I think it can be within my front end section here. So we'll do middleware.ts, middleware. All right. Basic setup is complete. Now let's come back here. I don't see anything for auth config. Oh, shoot. Oh, that was right. Perfect. Was it right? Yes. Okay. Next step. We have our auth config.ts. So I don't know what this is saying for my auth config ts because I have my auth. So maybe we come back to it here in a second. But once you've configured auth.js, you can integrate it with Payload CMS. To do this, wrap your auth.js configuration with the with payload function. So in our auth.ts, we have our handler sign in, sign out, auth, next auth. So then we have what is this auth config file? And why is it different than, so we have payload config, auth ts. So what is the auth config? Let's take a look if there is an example. There is an example. Do basic. We have source, we have auth and auth config.ts. And then they did their middleware with an underscore, but that's fine. All right, so in our source, we have our auth here, and then so, is that source? No, it's the root. So we can do another TypeScript file. We'll do this one as auth config.ts. Add. GitHub, and then I wanted to do Google as well. So we'll add Google, not Goog, Google. And then we come back and we do our auth ts, which this is going to have the with payload wrap around it. So that makes sense to me. Auth ts, all right. Then we can go back, and again. All right, so, geez, how far did I go? All right, we have our auth.js, we've got our providers, auth.ts, and then we need to go to our payload config, I have a feeling we're going to do all this and then it's just not going to work because I already have a users collection. But maybe it will. Okay, so then let's import auth.js plugin from Payload auth.js. Then we'll import our auth config from there. Then in our build config, we'll go down to our plugins. Right here. And we'll do export, auth.js plugin. Auth.js config, auth config. And then I can save this. So it should be all good now. What happens if I start my server? We'll see. Localhost admin. But then also my login is an auto login right now. So looks like we need to do payload generate import map. And then I've got my auto login that I can turn off real quick, which is not anything super private. Oops. I'm sorry, what do you mean by my build env, like the build environment? And then what do you mean by that specifically? All right, and then I can sign in with auth.js, which is cool. And then all right, this is a cool flow. Here, let me sign in with Google real quick. Okay, so this is actually what I got. So OAuth client was not found. So that tells me that there is something wrong in what I did. Authentication, OAuth. So I did Google. Okay, so this one requires an OAuth app in Google's dashboard, which I don't really want to do that right now. Is GitHub any easier? Oh, okay, so sorry, brain fried a little bit. Okay, so what I normally do for, like, I assume you mean like hosting. So I have Vercel, I use Mongo, and that's really it. So Payload CMS, of course, and then I just host the whole app on Vercel. Yes, I use TypeScript. I don't use Tailwind right now, but I am introducing Tailwind back into my workflow, just trying to get used to it. But I do like SCSS over vanilla CSS and over Tailwind as well. I don't use GraphQL either. I feel you on that. It's not just overkill, it just doesn't make sense to me. REST API it makes so much sense to me. That's probably because that's what I started with, but yes, so I agree. And then I'm just messing around with plugins now, so I don't really have an authentication flow outside of what is provided by Payload CMS. So I like what comes out of the box for the most part, but all right, so for some reason my chat's just freaking out here. All right, that's better. So I need to set up OAuth within each of my platforms. And I really just don't want to do that right now. It seems like it's a little bit of overkill right now, but I'm gonna do it. Let's just do it. But I know that this is gonna have some. Well, how long do I have? I got 10 more minutes in me. So we'll do, we already did this part, so that's good. We already have our sign in. So the last thing I need to do is add these over. Oh, so when I added this plugin, it did overwrite my users collection. So we're going to have to fix this before I call it quits anyway. All right, so we're going to go to, what I'm doing right now is just going to my env file. Where's my local? I don't want that in here. All right, and so then I need to, just the step-by-step, it's not. So we can go to how to set up sign up with auth.js. I have not blacklisted URLs. I don't know if anybody else has. Doesn't seem worth it. All right, so we're not going to follow that tutorial. All we need to do is just register our app in GitHub. So we're going to do that. So if I do left here, we'll do, well, I need this open. We'll go to GitHub. Is this even the right? It's not the right one. Please hold. Ugh. I hate when, so I love password managers, but I hate password managers. There we go. Okay. So now we'll go to settings. I'm probably going to have to actually undo all of this anyway. OAuth apps, new OAuth app. And then we'll do payload, not payload, Payload CMS. I don't really have one of these yet, so maybe this will work. All right. So this should be it for local. All right, so I'm going to hit register application, which I assume is going to show me stuff that I can't show you. All right, so we now have okay, we have an ID, which I assume is what this is looking for. And then we've got a secret, which I need to generate. That should all be good. Get rid of that. What is this? Sorry. Get rid of this over here. Do left. Try to keep some of the stuff that I'm doing on the screen. So let's not have this right now. All right, so then perfect. So did all that. So now if I go not to sign in with Google, but sign in with GitHub, continue. So now I need to figure out how do I create my first account, because that's missing now. So maybe that's written in our documentation over here. So getting the payload session. Weird. So I don't see, because the problem is when I sign in with GitHub, I have not signed in before. So I get redirected saying, like, this user does not exist on my user collection yet, so it can't verify and log in. So then I need to be able to sign up with GitHub. Let's see, basic. That's not important. Auth type app. Oh no, so I need to go to payload. Oh, so maybe it's not that. Oh, hold on. So we have payload, then we have API. Nope, so that's right. Admin. So app. Well, auth, API, auth. Well, I'm not having an issue with that. But we have app, and then here's a different idea. So source, we'll look at our payload config here in this example. So it just goes auth.js plugin, users, yes, so that makes sense. So then in their auth config, which is what I copied. So then how do I well, this would actually be helpful. So if I do, I might have to come back real quick and change this to be auth customers. Okay. So this can work because I will be able to have multiple collections, which I probably should have read this a little bit more in depth before just jumping in. But I would need to be able to, so for general users, let's start there. If we go to source, collections, we've got customers and admins. So auth customers config. GitHub callbacks, okay. So we've got a customers, and then in our auth admin, user collection slug admins. So what if I instead do this, and then in our auth config .ts, I can do, oh, it's not this. Oh, it's the with payload one, so that would be here. This one I want to do, we'll say customers. No, I don't like this. Okay, so this is becoming a little too much right now. A little much. So what I think I need to do is add our auto login back in, and then get rid of our auth plugin, because there are a couple things happening here that I need to figure out. The first one is, how do I sign up for the first time? because I need to do that. Wrong. Not where I want to go. Oh. Have so many errors now. Okay, get rid of this, and then we can go up to our rich text. Converters in. This is from one of the other plugins that we looked at. All right, so that's good. Admin login. Oh, hold on. So if we go back to our payload config, where's my auto login and why didn't it work? Go away. All right, so a few things may have happened here. So hold on. So auto login, so that's working, or at least it's on. Why can't I refresh and get rid of this? Okay, whatever. All right, so we will get rid of this middleware. Refresh. Nope. Okay. So let's just get rid of everything that we've done so far, because this will come in handy for like multiple collections where I can do a customer and I can do admins. Payload config. Get rid of this as well. And then up here I added all of that. So I don't need you. Man, so this really jacked some stuff up for me. So localhost, admin login. That's the wrong. I need dev at payload cms.com. Do test. So still not letting me log in. What else have I added here? Well, first, let's, that was the wrong one. But restarting might actually help. So, note to self, unless you know what you're doing setting up auth and you can find a way to log in, don't do what I just did. Either way, we're back in. I still can't get rid of this Bitwarden notification. But that might not be an actual issue here. So, or maybe it is. Anyway, all right, so here, let's do this. There, now I can see stuff and do stuff again. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, so then I can see my users, all of them are back. So the thing that needs to get figured out in order for me to use this, and it would be easier with a new project, is signing up using my so like it was not hard setting up the OAuth. That was easy, and then getting everything configured, easy, no problem. Getting all of the auth collections in, no problem. So now I just need to figure out how to sign up using my Next.js, auth.js flow, which works with GitHub. That's fine. And either have it so it's just for customers where they log in and then I just keep using Payload CMS. But regardless, they need to, like, I need to find a way to sign up a, well, maybe it's just I didn't use, no, I see my this is my GitHub email anyway, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why I wasn't able to do what I needed to do. But I'm not too worried about it. It's okay. I will survive. So thinking this through, I would like to, now I'm really just thinking about it because I have been trying to figure out, well, how do I want to handle if I was going to do a new app or a new project where I'm going to do like my rhyming dictionary or the library. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. But with that new project, I'm going to need admin users and I'm going to need customer users. And in those customer users, I would prefer to have a way for like account management where they can manage their subscription and all of that using the Stripe plugin. So there are a few things that I need to figure out here to make sure that I can do what I want to do. So very helpful, very easy to set up with that plugin. So I'm going to do a little bit more research into authentication, even if I need to do this kind of authentication, or if Payload CMS is enough. So there's a lot that I don't know about authentication in general, so I'm looking forward to digging more into it, both with this plugin and with Payload CMS's default tools. But I enjoyed watching, or not watching, I didn't watch this. I enjoyed reviewing those plugins, which again, I'll put in the description so you can check them out, including the one that I just struggled hard with. But, you know, it can't all be all fun and games, but it was crawler, yeah, payload, don't want to go all the way back. Payload auth.js. So I'll put that in the description so people who watch this in the future can see it. But I really enjoyed looking through all these plugins. The Payload community is amazing. Being able to create and share, and even like stuff like this that I'm able to do because of the Payload community and the assistance that I get as well. So very excited to continue creating in this space. Next time I will stream is most likely Wednesday. Actually, it's definitely Wednesday. I'm going to put that up in the schedule now. And I will not stream tomorrow, so it'll be Wednesdays and Sundays from as here on out. I'll probably mess with the time on Sunday. It seems like this time didn't work for a bunch of people, but it seems like a little bit later does. So we will think on that and figure out what we do for next week. But yeah, so if you want to see more videos like this, let me know, where I'm just reviewing community tools. Next time we'll start a new project, or we'll refactor a current client's website, just depending on the closing of the poll. If you haven't voted in the poll yet, you can do that on my channel, where I ask if you'd rather see me create a new project from scratch or refactor an old project that is a real client's website. So instead of doing that boilerplate that I was working on, actually working on a real in-production website live on the stream. So these are the options right now. I'm always open to suggestions, so if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave a comment. I just got a comment the other day or yesterday about Motion.js, or just motion, Framer Motion. So I'll be looking into some ways to utilize that even in my next project, or just on a live stream as I review tools. So if you have other plugins, let me know. If you have other things you want me to review or to struggle through like I just did with this one, let me know. But I enjoyed going through, especially the blur data URLs for images. That was really cool. Just worked pretty much straight out of the box. So that one was cool. The image search was nice, but I need the ability to attribute the photos. So that's just one missing feature there, but I think that's very easily fixable. And then I also did the rich text text color and font size feature, which was cool to mess with. And I do enjoy that you have the ability to set the array of default colors, so it's not just a color picker, but I'm able to like set the theme colors for the people using it. And then this one that I just worked on, Payload auth.js, it was really easy to set up the core functionality of it for me, just to do this live and to not be able to mess with it made it a little bit more difficult to actually get it working for what I wanted it to, which was really, I want to be able to log into the Payload CMS, like my dashboard, using auth.js. So I may try it with the new project coming up. I may not. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. If you want to get more content around Payload CMS, Tailwind that I'm working on now, Next.js, all of that, content like this, live coding and troubleshooting, I'm here for it. So that's it for today. I'll see you all on Wednesday. And again, thanks for watching.